Hello everyone, it's Graham from Blakeside, and I'm taking a break from doing the garden projects and car projects and all the other projects I've got on the go. And as we've had our first bit of rain for weeks, I thought I'd do some work on Lakeside, but not actually on Lakeside, but on one of my locos, which is, as you can see, the Silver Fox. And what I wanted to do was to add a smoke unit. Now the reason for that was that, it's got everything else on it now, so I thought I'd add a smoke unit. But what inspired me was watching a video from Tony over on his channel at Sheba31. Now if you haven't subscribed or you don't know that channel, go and check it out because it's a fabulous layout. It's got a fuller road system on it with trucks and coaches. It's a brilliant layout, really is. Have a look. So that's Sheba31, and the guy's name is Tony. And he posted up a video a couple of weeks ago of his Bachmann Silver Fox. This is the Hornby version. And he'd fitted smoke to it. And I was really impressed, really impressed. Now what he did was he opted to go for operating the smoke unit from function 0, which is the forward light. So normally if you press function 0, you normally get the running lights come on in the forward direction. And I thought, okay, fine. But reading through the internet searches and on the Zemo website, which is obviously the one I've got a Zemo decoder in here, sound decoder. I saw that there were CV settings for optimizing the smoke output. So when it's at rest, you get a little amount of smoke. But as the load increases under like a real situation, you get more smoke coming out. So I decided to allocate a different function button for that purpose, so I could tweak the CVs. Now the Zemo sound decoder I've got in here it's got 28 functions on it. And are all allocated apart from 2, which are functions 25 and 26. Now this is not going to be the same on every Zemo decoder. It depends on who's written the sound file, of course. And this one was written by Paul Chuckler, and he's left functions 25 and 26 available. Now, it's reasonably easy to know what the wiring is to connect up to the decoder. In this case, I'm saying this case because it's different depending on what you've got and how you want to do it. But what I've chosen is the brown wire and the blue wire to the decoder. So these are the two wires I have now soldered onto the decoder directly. Now the brown wire is on the decoder is a fly wire. In other words, it's just coming from the decoder and hangs loose for you to attach something to it. So that was okay, that's a straightforward connection. The blue wire is a wire which is soldered to the decoder and to the 8-pin plug. So the way I got over that was to take off the blue wire from the 8-pin plug and the decoder and solder this wire directly to the decoder, which is a standard procedure. Now I've spoken to YouTube and several other people, and the confirmation is that yes, that's what you do. I've also done a lot of research into the CV settings for this, and it's an absolute minefield. And in the end I was going round and round and round in circles. RM Web was obviously a good choice to go to, but unfortunately, because of the various decoders available, the various sound files available from different people, you really can't get a definitive answer. So I thought the best person to speak to was the author of the sound file, which was Paul Chimney. So I emailed him and he very kindly wrote back and told me the CV settings to set this for function 25 and to get the loading correct. So to cut a long story short, I've changed the settings on the decoder now, the CV settings. I've done a temporary wire up to the smoke unit and it works perfectly. Thank goodness, because I was getting nowhere fast. It would have been very, very easy just to connect these two wires. Instead of using the blue, it would have been the white. Up to the sound decoder, sorry, up to the smoke unit, and I would have got a smoke result straight away, because that's basically an on-off function which is already installed. But as I say, I wanted variations on it, so I couldn't really use that function. So it's all working and all ready to go, but I thought I would do this short video first just to explain the situation, because there's a few other things. So for example, the way I've got round this, if I hold this up, I'm not sure if this light's going to pick it up. Let's see if I can zoom this in for you. So I've got the two wires, I've pre-drilled 2 holes, well 4 holes really, 2 holes, I'm not, all right, you can just about perhaps see it. So I've got 2 holes just here in the base of the tender coming out to bring the wires out, and then I've pre-drilled 2 holes in the front frame so that I could bring the 2 wires through there. That keeps the wires out of the way of these forward running wheels. And then what can happen, if I turn it up that way, they will get bent down like something like that. Like that. That gives me the flexibility for going around curves, and also I will paint these black. It will look like a little piece of tubing from the loco to the tender when it's going round. And that actually then equalises up with these 4 wires coming out of this side of the loco for the 4-pin plug. So I'll have these cables here and the new wires coming out this side. So that should equal it all up. They're nice and flexible, these cables here, so I shouldn't get any drag from that when going around corners. Excuse me. While I've got this in my hand, somebody did ask about the weights on the loco. If you remember, I added some weights to this to get it up the incline, and there you can see them piled up on top there. And these are just standard wheel weights for when you balance wheels on your car. If you go to your normal tyre and exhaust place, they will gladly, well mine do, gladly give me a handful of these weights, and they're in various sizes, so you can lock them together, and they're incredibly adhesive. Obviously they have to be to stay on a wheel, so there's no chance of this falling off. And then you just put them on in the relevant position you want, just to add that bit of weight to it, and it certainly makes a difference. Now this smoke unit you see here is just at the moment held on with black tack, just to give me a working model, so that I can wire it up and get the smoke going. But this will be glued to the body eventually, so I will show you that, how far I've got. So first thing to do when removing the Hornby shell is that over on this side, you have to release this little mechanism here from one of the rear driving wheel, and that's just held on with a little tiny hexagon screw. And the other bit, it's on here, it's on the chassis. The other bit to be aware of is that as you're taking the body off the chassis, is that you will see just there, hopefully you can see that fine wire. That fine wire is held in place by this little bit of plastic here coming down. So as you're lifting the body, you're just going to have to make sure that this wire it just literally slips into this bit of plastic. So just make sure that you pull this bit of wire from the chassis out from this bit of plastic, otherwise you'll break it. So it's that mechanism there and a piece of wire. Undo the front screw here, and then the body lifts up and forward. So that's the way to get rid of, or to get the body off the chassis. Now those of you who are keen-eyed will see that I've taken the chimney off. Now the reason I've done that is that the Sooth smoke unit here, it does give off an awful lot of heat. Now this one has got a rubber surround to it, which is a pretty good insulator, but it still does give off a lot of heat. Hornby have utilised a plastic which is susceptible to heat. So I don't know about Bachmann or any other models, but it's very, very wise to replace the chimney on the Hornby A4, because otherwise if you don't, you will get eventually the chimney will crack or melt, and this front plate here will distort. Now these you can get around this by putting on a white metal chimney, which are available for different models. But obviously I wanted one for the Hornby A4, so that's the original chimney there, which is just glued on, and what it was is just a case of sliding a scalpel around the perimeter very carefully and just breaking the glue which holds it onto the body. So that's the old one, and the new one, the new white metal version, is there. So I've got to obviously shape this now to the same as that one, using a file, a needle file, and I shall also need to drill out this hole to a slightly bigger diameter like that one is, so that the Sooth smoke unit can come through. Once that's all done, I can then glue this on to the body shell. I will probably have to correct the shape of this here, the curvature. I don't know, I'll have to see when I've actually taken off this. There's quite a bit of metal to come off of it here yet, but I want a good fit, obviously. Once I've got that good fit and the hole is drilled out, I then glue that on with this stuff called Devcon, which is a 2-part epoxy mix, and as I was speaking to the chap at YouTube's, which is the way he does it, what you do is that you not only put it on around the chimney, but you also pop it, a smear of it on this front face in here, the slopey face, this bit here. So, and you spread it around here and here, and that gives you a pretty good insulation against the heat, because this 2-part epoxy is heat resistant. So it helps to protect the plastic. If you don't, what happens is that this section here tends to dip with the heat. And this is all something which he's experienced in the past, and the way he solved it is by smearing this 2-part epoxy on the inside, and that gives a very, very good insulation against any warping. So that's as far as I've got at the moment. So my next job is to work the chimney. So I've got to shape it and then glue it, and then glue the Sooth smoke generator to the inside of the white metal chimney. Now I have got a list of the CV settings, and I'm a little bit cautious to give these out, because they are for this particular sound file written by Paul Chetner. So if you've got the same as me, then these settings will be fine, but you probably will find that the settings will be different if you have a different different manufacturer decoder, or even maybe a different sound file, even though it's on a Zemo. So for the function button, I've chosen F25. So the CV settings for that is CV 430, you code in 25. Now that is really for the function button. So if you're using function 26, you would code in on CV 430 26 instead of 25. So that just allocates the function button. And then CV 432 you set to 2, and 434 you set also to 2. Now those three CVs were set to 0 by default on mine, so I've changed those to 25, 2 and 2. So 430 equals 25, 432 equals 2, and 434 equals 2. So that's the function button. Now for the smoke itself, there's 4 settings for that. Now that's on CV 137, 138 and 139. Now what that does, that sets the amount of smoke you want to come out. So idle, which is CV 137, that's set to about 70-ish. 138 is set to about 180, 200, which is mid-range, and then 139, which is full load, full pelt, is 255, which is the maximum. One more setting, CV 353, is the duration of the smoke. Now you can have it so that it just goes on and on and on until the oil runs out, or as a safety you can have the smoke unit to shut off. So if you go to CV 353, there is a setting in there which you can change and or put in rather, whereby it gives you the setting. I've got this set to a maximum of 5 minutes, purely because of the heat. You've got a CB setting there for 10 minutes. This is all on the Zemo website, by the way. So 353 gives you the duration of the smoke. So as a safeguard, I put it down for 5 minutes duration, and then it shuts off automatically, and then you just have to press, in my case, press function 25 and it comes on again. After about 10 minutes maximum, 10 minutes absolute maximum, you should stop the loco and refill it. But I would probably think that it's going to run out before 10 minutes. So it's a bit of a flaff doing the CVs, but it's worth it in the end because it does work absolutely spot on. And as I say, it took me a long time in research to get all this information, but I got there in the end. So the next thing is for me to finish this off, but I thought I'd show you this first before I went any further, to show you that I never do a how-to. It's always how I did it, not how you should do it. It's how I do it. Everybody's different in the way they work and what they want, and everybody's locos and decoders are different too. So this is not a how-to, it's how I did it, or in the process of doing it. I haven't done it yet. So, but it's looking good so far. It's all working. So all I need to do now is to do the chimney, glue it all together, pop the body back on here, connect it all up, and that should be it. Famous last words. But I don't see any reason why it shouldn't be a success, because it all works at this stage. Hence the reason for doing it like this, rather than bolting it all together and finding it doesn't work. I will hopefully get this done sometime today, and we'll see it running on Lakeside. And once that's running okay, then I'll put the video up. So that's it for now, and I will speak to you later. So bye for now. There you go. Just turn the sound off. So, all complete. Excellent. And it works beautifully. Really, really pleased. It's probably been about a day's worth of work. Probably about, I don't know, 6 hours worth. So that's been good. And along with that, what I've done is I've also put some crew in the cab. Not stopped. Put some crew in the cab. I fitted 2 lamps, not working, but they've got like little jewels at the front which reflect the light. Also a red one on the rear of the tender. Fitted the whistle back in at the front, which meant drilling a tiny little hole in it. So yeah, all complete. And I've also, if I can pick this up and show you, if I turn it round, I've painted the wires black, matte black, or weather black actually, so that really can't see anything now from there. Plenty of flexibility, so not an issue there. The chimney, if I can show you it, there's the new chimney put on with the 2-part epoxy, and I've spent quite a while getting the shape right to fit the curvature. There's quite a bit of metal to come off, but got there eventually. That was all done with needle files, and that was painted. I did originally paint it in satin black, but actually weather black looked better. Still a little bit of shine on the join there, but that's where it's just drying at the moment. So yeah, all in all, very pleased. So I think what I will do now is to pop it on the track of Lakeside and give it a run and see what it looks like. So, an excellent day's job. Just pop this on again. It does give you the initial pop as normal. There you go. Perfect. Right, you can see it's smoking more as the revs went up. That's great. Okay, let's pop it on the track and see how she looks. Right, hello again. Yep, she's on the track and runs fantastically. Now I've got it going round the wrong way on the outer track purely because I wanted it to come out of the tunnel. But you can see now when she's at idle there's not an awful lot of smoke coming out. So that CV setting is just about right. But obviously under full power then she goes like a good one, as they say. So I'll just turn this off for a moment and the sound. So very pleased with it, very pleased with it indeed. Yeah, can't really say any more than that. Looks good going round, and probably what I'll do is a longer video of it running round a bit later on over the weekend perhaps, if I get the time. But hopefully that's given you a little bit of an insight into fitting a smoke unit along with a few other people. I'll say go over to Sheba 31 and have a look at Tony's layout, because it is a fabulous layout and he's got lots of interesting stuff on it. So that's it from me. Have a great weekend if I don't speak to you, and I'll speak to you later. Bye.